There's a way to tune gears in Forza Horizon 6 so that your car launches more consistently, pulls hard through each gear, and reaches the top speed you want. This is what I call triple stage gearing. Check out this Audi R8 GT. It launched faster with less wheel spin, reached 100 miles per hour, a tenth faster, and is capable of a higher top speed thanks to a simple change to the gear tuning. And it's such a joy to drive now. Just listen to that engine sing. But when I built this Mazda RX-7 and then retuned the gears, it actually showed slightly worse acceleration, maybe a tenth slower to 60 and a tenth slower to 100 miles per hour. And despite that, it was actually much more consistent to launch. It averaged nearly a car length faster in a half-mile drag race, all while having a top speed 12 miles per hour faster than the default tune. Stats are really only part of the story with gearing. My name is Anthony, Forza player since 2005, and in this video, we'll go over two situations where tuning gears has the biggest benefit. I'll show you the one thing you need to keep in mind for gearing performance. And finally, you'll learn how to make your own triple stage gearing tune. This is a proven approach that I've built through 10 years of testing and feedback from other Forza players. Forza uses a car's real-life gear ratios in the game, and many of these transmissions were tuned for fuel efficiency and everyday driving. They sound kind of lazy, like this new Mustang. But install a race transmission and watch them come alive and just rip through the gears. And the other situation where gearing has the biggest benefit is a car with a narrow power band. Think turbo engine with lots of lag, or a high revving, naturally aspirated engine like the one you might find in an S2000. These engines must be kept spinning faster to make maximum power. Which leads us to the one thing you should keep in mind about gearing, the power band. It is key to understanding gearing in Forza Horizon 6 or any racing game or real life build. And here's how you can visualize it. Let's take this power and torque graph for the RX-7. We mark the starting point of the power band, which is where the torque line is highest, and that's about 7,200 RPM. Then we include everything over to a useful shift point, which in this case is right near the maximum engine speed, or about 10,300 RPM. That's the power band. And we want our gear ratio lines to live in this band as much as possible to make sure we are always getting as much out of the engine as we can. Let's run through a quick example and show you how ForzaTune handles gearing. In our first Forza Horizon 6 tuning guide, we made a C500 build for the Silvia Ks and shaved several seconds off our lap times. Let's upgrade this one to a B600 rating, but this time we are going to make a build that is good for going fast and cruising around the map. Now, I lean towards purist builds, so we have the classic turbo 2-liter or famous blacktop SR20 engine swap. We also add race turbo and race transmission, wider tires on the stock compound, and I wanted to do a rear spoiler delete. Not all of your builds have to be totally rational, right? This is leaning towards a speed build with maybe reasonable handling. And I'll tell you what, I just love that clean, no spoiler look. This is 1980s Nissan perfection here. If we jump into the tuning menu and then go to the gearing tab, we can pull the final drive down and see where the car seems to max out on top speed. So we started out right around 190 miles per hour, and waiting for the simulator to recalculate, we see the new speed can reach about 215 miles per hour. So we will keep that number in mind. All right, let's open up ForzaTune, which we will use to retune everything, including gears. This app is a faster, more accurate way to set up the race transmissions compared to using the gearing graph just by itself. And you can use the free or pro version to tune gears in Forza Horizon 6. The steps are nearly identical. So let's jump into the upgrade screen to get the stats we need and start copying them into the app. We have the car, the weight, the front weight percentage, the performance index of 600, And we are still rear wheel drive like any proper Silvia. And we will do a balance tune for the road with a race suspension, which we installed in the last video. We will switch on the gear tune option for this build and then hit continue. Next, we need to enter the power band. And from any performance upgrade screen, you can grab the power and torque plot, and the app gives us a nice way of estimating our values here. So tap into the power band selection screen and then make sure you select which graph you have. In ours, we are looking at the 0, 5, 10 spacing. And the app asks for redline RPM, but it will also accept rev limit RPM. For manual shifting, I usually recommend the rev limit as long as the engine is still making useful power above the red line. So from the 5 mark, we count over 1, 2, 3, and maybe a little extra. And then we slide the button in the app to the same location and it will calculate the RPM for us. So it looks like this engine cuts out at about 8100 RPM. For the peak torque RPM, we can imagine a line coming down, and whichever or wherever it touches the pink line first is the peak torque RPM. But look what we have. It's nearly flat after 5000 RPM. So I ended up using right around 5700 RPM, but you do have some wiggle room when it's flat like this. So let's hit done. And we can get the max torque value from the stats panel, cycle through it if you need to. And it says 349 foot-pounds. If we keep cycling through, then it would show the simulated top speed at about 192 miles per hour. But remember, don't take that at face value. Let's use our 215 mile per hour value, since we've looked that up already. New for Forza Horizon 6 is the option to create a gear tune when tire size isn't available. So you can select the ratios plus speed method, but use the tire size whenever possible. It's usually faster and more accurate. To find the drive tire size, we hop over to the tire upgrade screen and find that rear tire size, which is 285, 30, and 18. Okay, we will use the suggested first gear speed, which is designed for a solid launch. And if you want to customize your launch, toggle this off and you can decide at what speed the first to second shift happens. All right, we hit calculate. Let's copy these results into the tuning menu. We're starting from the default settings so you can see the complete before and after stats. We started with a 0 to 60 at 5.675 seconds, a 0 to 100 at 12.3 seconds, and a top speed of 191.4 miles per hour. Then we update tire pressures and of course the gearing values. Our first gear is designed for launch, then gears 2 through 5 are spaced nicely, and 6th will pull us to our top speed. The app creates this triple stage gearing automatically. Now the simulated speed may show lower than your target because the game simulator stops at redline, and we built this tune to rev beyond that. After entering all of our gearing and handling settings, we are slightly better to 60. We're actually 0.2 faster to 100 miles per hour, and we have a top speed that's 20 miles per hour higher. And I can tell you this car launches more consistently after testing. It pulled harder everywhere and is great for just jumping on the highway and a little bit of impromptu drifting. Should we do a full drift build? Let me know what you think. And if you haven't already tried ForzaTune, check the link in the description or search for ForzaTune on the App Store or Google Play. And the free version is great for street and track tunes in Forza Horizon 6. The pro version will open up drift, rally, and off-road tunes and more customization. If you have any more questions about gearing, please drop a comment. And as always, stay tuned.